welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs at Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs with my new best friend, Arethia, Phenise. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
The Master Thinkers.
Yes.
The Master Thinkers.
Yes.
Why the Master Thinkers?
We collectively came together, my two business partners and I. One is actually in Portland, Oregon. The other one is in Bogota, Colombia. We have a universal platform to help individuals and businesses evolve to the next level.
What does that mean? Evolve to the next level?
Meaning what you used to do in business or in your personal life 5 years ago, it no longer works.
Why doesn't it work?
Because times have changed. We are constantly evolving. We're constantly growing. Either you get into the movement of change and embrace it and evolve, or you stay the same and you become obsolete.
Okay, so that all sounds very good in the abstract, right? I mean, we all talk about change, we'll talk about growing and going to the next level, etc., and that sounds very good. But for me, it's got to resonate into something more specific.
Okay.
So give me some clarity as to what are you talking about when you're going to take me to the next level. What does that mean for me?
On an individual basis or on a corporate basis?
On an individual basis.
Okay.
I mean, whatever the master...
we do both.
Okay, so let's say on an individual basis.
On an individual basis, okay, we would first identify someone. Now, we do screen people. We don't take everyone who wants to work with us because I have a series of questions that I have developed because I've been doing this on my own for many years.
Okay.
But for example, a question that I would ask you if I was going to take you on as a client under the Master Thinkers umbrella. Do you have a problem temporarily being uncomfortable?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm uncomfortable, in fact, permanently.
Uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable permanently.
You're unique. You're special.
Here's, some of us thrive in chaos, right?
Yes.
Some of us need that chaos in order to continue. And it sounds very, perhaps difficult to understand for the normal individual. But some of us really live in that chaos, and it's that chaos that allows us to grow or to develop or to go into something else. And maybe sometimes out of chaos, there is some type of stability, some type of creativity, something that comes out that looks like where I should be.
You're exactly right, but a lot of people are stuck in the chaos.
Okay.
They're in a cyclone. They're in a whirlwind
All right.
of just chaos and confusion. They don't know where to go. They're stuck.
So when you come in as you give people clarity.
Yes,
All right.
yes, that is my position. I quickly identified through a series of questions that I would ask them and just talking with them briefly, I can identify if indeed they don't mind being uncomfortable, because what I have to do, I have to disrupt the pattern of what they're doing in order to push them out of the cyclone. Then once I push them out of the cyclone, okay, now they're a little wobbly, but then I can direct them, okay, now what do you want? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? What is your goal? If you don't have a goal, let's talk a little bit more. Let's have a deeper conversation. And
So I'm sorry,
okay.
but you have to be honest with yourself.
Oh,
though.
absolutely.
I mean, me
Absolutely.
as your client,
Absolutely.
I have to be really, I have to put myself in a vulnerable position.
Absolutely.
So that there's a level of trust that is
Absolutely.
created between you and I.
Absolutely.
So that you can be honest with me and I can be honest with you.
Absolutely. I know this is maybe taboo in the business world, but I've actually given refunds to people because I am not in the business of just taking people's money. I really care about what I do. I put myself out there. I open myself up to each individual person as well as on a corporate level, so we can connect. That's what's missing in our society today. We're so disjointed and disconnected. So we can, flip somebody off and don't think anything about it. We can say something rude to somebody and don't think anything about it because we don't connect that we're all one. We're all connected.
Without being specific or names, but give me a specific example of somebody that was stuck and how you helped them develop into a better individual.
Okay, without names, I'll give you a client that I picked up in another country, and the language barrier was somewhat of a touchy point for a minute, but once we got past the language barrier, he was actually stuck in what he wanted to do with his life. He wasn't fulfilled in his daily, job, what he was doing, but he had some issues that he had not dealt with, but he thought he had dealt with by saying he forgave, but the issues were still there because he was stuck.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about forgiveness.
Okay.
Which for me is an anathema, because it's the easiest word that we throw around when we want to feel good about ourselves. And we say, I forgive you, or I forgive, but I never forget, and things like that. And for me, it's a very gratuitous word, right? Because forgiving, if you're going to forgive, then it's a zero-sum game. At that point, you're done with whatever that individual you forgave him for. You're done with whatever emotions and feelings you have for that person, and you're starting from anew.
Absolutely.
And we throw that word, we forgive, so much so that for me it's really meaningless any longer. If you're going to forgive somebody for sure, then act like it.
Absolutely.
Will you have dinner with that individual on Thanksgiving? Oh, no. Then you haven't forgiven that person. So that's the type of being stuck that you're talking about?
Yes, but it's a twofold thing. Now, forgiving is one thing, but you have to understand and be aware that the other person is not necessarily where you are, as far as being open and honest with themselves and owning whatever offense they did.
All right.
So you can forgive that person, and you can be okay with having dinner with that person. But if that person is still stuck in where they are in their mess, then the only thing you can do is forgive and move on.
As an entrepreneur, this is after all the Entrepreneurs in Fuego show, and how you got to where you are. I mean, when did you discover that you had this gift of sitting down with people and figuring out inside a good 5-10 minutes what that individual may or may not need from you? When did you discover that you had this gift?
That is a wonderful question. I was actually in corporate America. I was working for a major global company, and I was on a phone call, and we have a script. We had a script that I was supposed to follow, and I am so off the cuff, and so anyway. So this one particular day, I was listening to the person, and they were going on and on and on about. They weren't talking about the business of what I was in. They were talking about their personal life. And they were going on and on. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. And so I said, listen, I said what I had to say to them. And they're like, oh my God, can I talk with you some more? And I said, sure. Now, at this point, I could have been fired for what I was doing, because you
went off the script.
I went off the script,
Okay.
went off the reservation. I just, totally abandoned what I was supposed to do.
Right.
We weren't even talking about the business that I was representing, the company. We were talking about heart to heart. This person was really in a bad situation. And to my shock and surprise, the phone call was recorded. So I got called in the next day into the office, to talk with my manager. And I just said to myself, this is it. Can I just get my purse? I'm out of here. And so they were like, no. They said, what you did was not authorized, and we don't condone it. However, the way you handle it, we want to find out more. So that turned into me. Now they gave, one day I left, I was just a line person. The next day I came back, I had a team of people that I was managing. That turned into, now I discovered I had a gift of talking to really hostile, pissed off people that were threatening to sue. And I was able to come in and just calm the situation, because it wasn't about that particular situation. It was about something else. And I was able to quickly identify the something else, calm them down. They loved the company I was representing. They loved me. I would get flowers, cards, all kinds of things. But that made me aware that, I'm onto something.
Right. You were able to recognize
Yes.
the fact that the issue that they were angry about was not the company or the service that they received, but it was something deeper.
Much
and you were able
deeper.
to delve into that, remove that, and make everybody happy.
Yes.
Your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur, what is it?
Someone coming to me, either a company or an individual coming to me and saying they're ready for change, they've heard of my services, I have references, they've checked me out, that we're ready to go, we've signed contracts. I get there and they are bent on defending where they are. They're justifying it. And let me be clear, when you are stuck, you can easily justify it. Your justifications are real.
Sure. You can rationalize anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's not, I don't, pacify your justifications. I help you move past it. You can't focus on what happened. It's happened. Like, move past it. But I'm saying it in a casual way, but it's challenging. It's only challenging if the person isn't ready. I have two caveats for me working with anybody. You have to be willing and you have to be ready. Because I have all the tools, all the material, all the teaching, some unorthodox, some untraditional things that I do. But none of that will be sustainable, and it won't maintain their growth and their progress if they're not willing and ready to be open and honest with themselves and move forward.
Smile for me. You're too serious. Get me unstuck. With that, you're phenomenal. We're out.